Hey guys, in today's video we're going to be counting down the top 5 most essential, or if you're really cynical about it, pay to win DLC in Payday 2. Now if you're a long time subscriber to this channel, you'll probably remember this same video from last year. I had a couple other top 5 videos too, but I had to put them unlisted because they kept getting outdated, and I thought it was about time for an update. So here we go. Now DLC has been ranked by both how game changing it is, as well as the cost, so how much it helps you out, how much it gives you an advantage over vanilla players. And some of them are cheaper, some of them are more expensive. So in my opinion, any DLC not included in this list, you can go without and buy in the next Steam sale. That doesn't mean it's a ripoff at all, but it just means that you don't really need it to play the game and get the most out of it. Keep in mind that for this video, we're not really focused on the masks, patterns, or other cosmetic shit that comes with these packs. Although Overkill reduced prices on a bunch of the old stuff permanently, it will still cost you about $100 to buy all of it. And for whatever reason, the Game of the Year edition doesn't have the last 11 DLC and doesn't even save you any money full price. Maybe it does in a sale, not quite sure. Now, if you're somebody who thinks that Overkill milks the hell out of Payday 2, I don't exactly agree with you, but they've definitely had their fair share of underwhelming or rip-off DLCs, and I definitely want to make a list of that as well. So hopefully I'll get around to doing that at some point. So coming in at the number 5 spot, we have the Butcher's AK/Car4 mod pack. This mod pack features 10 attachments for the AK family and 10 attachments for the M4 family. Some noteworthy attachments here are DMR kits, which will improve your damage quite a bit, but also limit you in other areas such as ammo, a new AK red dot sight, which was desperately needed for these AKs. I mean, you can see the difference here, and it's a shame you have to pay for it, really. Of course, the Car4 is generally considered to be one of the best or the best weapons in the game. I personally consider it to be slightly overrated, but you can definitely see statistically it is quite a monster, and this pack does boost the Car4 quite a bit, even more, past the Gauge Mod Courier pack. It also has attachments for the AK and M4 SMGs, which they still have a problem with ammo, but this does make them a little bit more viable than they were before. Also, of course, there's some attachments here for the criminally underlooked AMR. The AMR is definitely worth using. It does have some ammo problems, but for the most part, this gun is quite a monster, and I definitely recommend you try it out, especially if you get this pack, as there's quite a few options you can now choose for it. Before this pack came out, to get the Car4 to the best statistics, you had to make it quite a Frankenstein of a gun. Now with this pack, you can get about the same or better statistics and have a lot nicer looking of a gun. I mean, if you're going to spend hours looking at a weapon, you might as well have it look good. So if you're a fan of the assault rifles in Payday 2, this pack is definitely worth picking up. However, if you don't like the CAR or AKs in the game, and unfortunately to unlock these attachments, you do have to do achievements, which while in a 4-man group can be pretty easy to knock out, solo they're a lot harder. Of course, this pack is pretty limited in what it covers for weaponry, and for that reason, it comes in at the number 5 spot. Coming in at the number 4 spot, we have the Gauge Ninja pack. This was the most recently released DLC for Payday 2. It features an SMG, bow and arrow, sniper rifle, throwing stars, and a plethora of new melee weapons that feature a new mechanic with poison, which is kind of gimmicky but also works pretty well at the same time. Now the crossbow isn't amazing, but for stealth it is a one-hit kill, and it does its job pretty well. You can also put an explosive attachment on it, and it is a secondary weapon. I personally prefer it over the bow and arrow for that reason. The sniper rifle, the Lebed Sagar 308, is a beast of a sniper, semi-automatic. It has 10 shots. You can take the scope off it as well. Of course, it destroys shields and will also pulverize bulldozers. It's a very powerful sniper and one of the best in the game. The Cross Vertex, which many of you will know as the Vector SMG from many other games, is one of the better SMGs in the game. It has a high fire rate and pretty high damage for an SMG, especially if you put the right attachments on it. However, being an SMG in Payday 2, its ammo is run out extremely quickly, and you'll definitely have to watch it. The Throwing Star, which is coated in poison, goes into your grenade slot, and you can hold 10 of them. Regular enemies are a one-hit kill, however more heavily armed enemies such as tasers and bulldozers will take quite a lot to bring down. The Throwing Star is a really fun weapon to use, and surprisingly both solid in loud and stealth. The new melee weapons aren't anything huge, but they are kind of fun to play around with. They are sort of gimmicky at the same time, however. The reason I put this pack in at the number 4 spot is because it has a combination of 2 or 3 other packs. For example, it has one of the better snipers in the game, which you don't really need the Gauge Sniper pack anymore. However, it's still worth picking up at some point. It's got the bow and arrow replacement from the Cowboy pack, and it's also got one of the better SMGs in the game. Plus it's got the throwing star, which is one of the most fun and unique things they've added to the game in a long time, and for that reason, the Gauge Ninja pack comes in at the number 4 spot. Coming in at the number 3 spot, we have the Sokol character pack. Previous character packs had gimmicky perk decks, weapons that were either clones of another weapon in the game, or just not really worth buying, and personalities, while decent, weren't really worth the $5 alone. Now the Sokol character pack goes in the complete opposite direction. It has the Grinder perk deck, which is a really good perk deck. Personally, I don't feel like it's as good as Dodge, but it's actually almost better than Armor. Maybe not on Death Wish. It's not that good on Death Wish, but it is still quite a beast of a perk deck. How this perk deck works is that when you hit enemies and do damage, you'll get some of your health back. Unlike Bonnie's perk deck, which did a similar thing with ammo, this one has a very short cooldown timer on it, and you can get a lot of your health back pretty fast. Now we do have a new rifle, the Russian VAL, which I believe is called the Valkyrie here. This is a permanently silenced weapon that exceeds in both stealth and loud. Especially if you have the ghost silence skills, you can get this thing down to 3 concealment. You can also get it over 50 damage, and it has a high ammo pickup rate, decent reload time, and pretty solid look overall. The only real negative to this gun is that the magazine size is pretty low, but if you're running a heist in stealth and everything goes loud, this is the perfect backup gun, and I feel like it replaces the CAR-4 as the best silenced assault rifle to bring with you on heists. Of course, Sokol's also quite a badass, and I personally do like his voice. Some people may not, but I feel like his personality is pretty cool, and that is why this pack comes in at number 3. Now do keep in mind that there has been a lot of talk if Overkill is going to nerf the Grinder perk deck. A lot of people claim that it is overpowered. As I said before, I feel like for maybe Overkill difficulty and below, it is sort of overpowered. Definitely a thing to run there. But on Death Wish, it's just not that good. 9 times out of 10, I would rather have a Dodge build on Death Wish. It really doesn't need to be nerfed that bad. Everything's pretty much overpowered on Overkill anyway. So coming in at the number 2 spot, this was a very tough pick for me. I was debating heavily between putting the Butcher's Barbecue pack and the Shotgun pack in this slot. It's really a kind of a toss-up. The main reason to put the Shotgun pack in here would be for the explosive ammo, which does high damage to shields and stuns bulldozers, making them a lot easier to kill. Definitely a super overpowered ammo, really worth picking up at some point because it does do a ton of damage. That said, the rest of the pack doesn't really have anything that's super good in it or even worth using. I mean, the Street Sweeper's alright. The other 2 shotguns, the Raven and the M1014, really aren't that amazing. The Raven's better, I would say. It does have a high ammo capacity, but it takes forever to reload. It has a lot of drawbacks. And personally, I feel like the Butcher's Barbecue pack is just a all-around better pack. First off, it has the Piglet grenade launcher, which is a beast of a weapon and will just tear through everything in your path. The flamethrower is kind of a gimmicky weapon. There's no ammo pickup on it. You have to use ammo bags. It's worth using and it's a competent gun, but it's not overpowered or even really something I use a lot. The Stakeout shotgun, which many of you will know as the AA-12, is probably, I would say, very close to being the best shotgun in the game. It's quite a monster, high magazine capacity, fully automatic or single shot if you want it to, does a lot of damage, has a nice pickup rate, pretty awesome shotgun. This pack also has flame ammo for both the Piglet and shotguns. The flame ammo is a lot worse than the explosive ammo. It's kind of a gimmick, to be honest. It really doesn't work that great. However, seeing cops burn alive is pretty amusing. Now this pack does have a Molotov cocktail, which is pretty good at crowd control. Just throw it in a spot you don't want the cops coming in and it'll last for quite a while. It's a pretty good grenade and I feel like it's better than the standard old nade that came with one of the first weapon packs. As I said before, this spot's kind of a toss-up. I feel like the barbecue pack is better overall, but the shotgun pack is worth picking up just for the explosive rounds at some point. Of course, the shotgun pack is cheaper. It's really up to you, but personally, I would definitely go with the barbecue pack here. So coming in at the number 1 spot, we've got the Gauge Mod Courier pack. This pack, when it came out, was extremely necessary. It's not as necessary now. There's a lot of new attachments and weapons they've added for free that can definitely compete here. But it's still, I say, one of the most essential packs, or the most essential pack to have in Payday 2. This DLC adds an assortment of attachments for pretty much every gun category. It adds one for shotguns, stuff for pistols, stuff for assault rifles. The only thing it doesn't have is a sniper item, because snipers weren't really out yet. Before this pack came out, the CAR-4 was pretty shit, but after, it added a lot of attachments for the CAR-4 and AKs, which did boast them quite a bit. You can get a huge magazine, some enhanced damage, and there are some drawbacks to those, but overall they're definitely worth trying out or using to see if they fit in your build. How this pack works is that there are packages hidden around the map. There are 5 different tiers of packages, each color-coded with a different animal on them, for example the snake, and each package has a total you need to collect before you can unlock the reward. Each reward tier will unlock different attachments, and you can check your progress in the crime.net menu. Every time you complete a full set, you'll receive 1 set of attachments. It can be done an infinite amount of times, however, eventually you'll have enough to cover every gun you need. There's no annoying achievements, everything can be done in solo, and you don't need any friends to do it. So in my opinion, that is one of the reasons why it is the premier pack to get in Payday 2. Kind of gimmicky, kind of annoying that you have to buy a mod pack, but at the same time, getting down to it and the statistics and the benefit you get from this pack is massive, and I would definitely put it in at the number 1 spot. So that is why that is where it is. And yeah, that completes the video. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next week or whenever I make another video.